Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we have some rather exciting Warhammer The Old World news. It turns out that the Border Princes have been given a lot of new information. This is big as they are part of the Southern Realms. A new article has just dropped on Warhammer Community and there is a lot to discuss, so let's not waste any more time and jump right in. We have a massive change to the map which points us to the direction of the Border Princes. A lot of icons can be found there. This is extremely exciting as they've also stated over the last few months our artists and writers have been thinking about an area of the Warhammer world that's been around since at least 3rd edition of the game. This region, however, has seen little development over the years. The Border Princes. Right, why this is so important is because this is a region where loads of city-states exist, loads of dark rulers, but also some greedy, money-loving ones too. Some benevolent ones too, but they're very rare. And it looks like a lot of stuff is being fleshed out. This is absolutely amazing as, well, you know, this might mean a new faction is playable. The return of the Dogs of War, perhaps. Not only that, maybe proper fleshed out Southern Realms where they'll be divided into their own separate factions. This is further expanded upon in the second image where we can see a lot more different icons, and it's actually really impressive as, yeah, the area's gotten larger. You see on the right hand side of the map, that used to mostly belong to dwarfs, but it seems that now that belongs to the Border Princes too. The territory is being fleshed out, and this is really curious. I wonder what this means. We've got a little bit of lore here too, which is rather important. The Border Princes is a rugged, largely arid region occupying a crossroads between the various nations and factions of the Warhammer world. It is an area well used to the tread of invading armies passing through in all directions, and as such, it is claimed by no one nation. Instead, it is a patchwork of petty kingdoms. Each is ruled over for a brief period by a leader, charismatic or despotic enough to claim a temporary throne before being knocked off it within a year or two by the next rival. Exiled nobles and fallen warriors come to the Border Princes from far and wide to set themselves up as rulers, gathering any waifs and strays that will flock to their tattered banners. Okay, so the lore is staying pretty much the same, and this is absolutely awesome. So the general gist of it will remain, though there is a lot more rulers here. The icons from the previous image showed that there's a lot more new stuff. Next, we have an even better look from an image, a few of these different kingdoms or so, but none of them which I can really recognize. Obviously this is way back in the past, though it looks like Harkin has found himself here near the Forest of Gloom. So does this mean that the Bloodkeep is now properly here? Or do the Blood Knights have another station here? It very much depends, though this is extremely curious. I don't know. This is very much next to Karazakarak, so you'd think that the dwarves would be able to know that this is here. We're going to have to wait and see, though I am very interested to see what happens. Next, we have a little bit more information. This area is fascinating, but it's also a challenge when it comes to expanding the setting. It was originally created to provide a sandbox which players could set up their own campaigns and stories, so we didn't want to over-describe the area. Instead, we gave the hobbyists enough information to run with it and make it their own. Yep, this is a common bit of info that happens when it comes to Warhammer. This is very common in 40k and Age of Sigmar too, so it's nice to see this returning once again for Warhammer Fantasy Battles in Warhammer The Old World. Now we have one final image, which is once again showing us some more heraldry. This is really cool, so it looks like we're going to have loads of different sub-factions. I really hope that this does mean that they're going to be playable, not just as Dogs of War, but splitting up the races and factions, as that would be absolutely amazing. Here's hoping, and normally Games Workshop are normally very quiet about these things, but hey, why not? And a little bit more information just to round up this video. To capture this area of shifting power and fate, we've created a snapshot of the region as it might appear for a very brief moment in time. These places are largely permanent, but the people occupying them are very far from it. The crests shown on this new map are those outcast nobles from all over the old world, but who's to say how long they'll hold on to power before being cast by a jealous rival. This is very exciting, so it looks like things are going to be changing and so on, and if they're going to keep to this, I can almost guarantee the fact that this faction is going to be playable. We're going to have to wait and see, like I've always said, because Games Workshop are very quiet about these things, but this sounds cool. This sounds interesting, and this is news that we've needed. If it's the Border Princes becoming their own playable faction, then we might see Estalia, Talia, Araby, all these different factions which have been hinted and have been changing in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, reimagined for Warhammer The Old World. That would be absolutely incredible. Now, we're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, I know you guys must be sick of that, but time will tell. Let's just hope that Games Workshop wants this to happen. And obviously, we need to keep vocal about this, but this is really, really, really exciting. Let's just wait, and hopefully we won't have to wait too long for more news, because normally they split it up after, 2-3 months, sometimes even more, but news for Old World has been coming out a lot lately. So yeah, let's keep hoping.